Hey guys, hope all is well. This is John from EB3.Work, and today we're going to answer some of the most frequently asked questions that we get at EB3.Work. So let's get right into it. Number one, can I apply for the EB3 if I'm outside the US? Absolutely. The answer is yes. About half of the applicants that we have are outside the US, and the other half are inside the US on like a F1 student visa or H-2B visa, which leads us to commonly asked question number two, can I apply for the EB3 visa if I'm in the US on a visa, like a student visa? Absolutely. Again, the answer is yes. It's a very common path for students that are in F1 status, because the length of the time that it takes to get the EB3 visa approved usually aligns well with the expected graduation or finishing OPT or CPT if you're in F1 student visa status, or you just graduated and you're working on OPT or CPT. The same with the H-2B visa. A lot of our applicants are on an H-2B, and they love the fact that they're able to work in the US. They like being in the US. They like the salary that they're getting. What they don't like is that there's no opportunity to move up or to really create a career, because in the H-2B, you're kind of going from a busy season with one employer to busy season with another employer. And it doesn't really give you a chance to settle down, make roots, and kind of start a new life. You're always on the move. And so, the EB3 is fantastic for H-2B workers. And, our team of immigration attorneys, we have former consular officers on our staff that guide you on how to and consult you. We'll give you individual consultations on how to renew your H-2B or your F1 if your I-140 has already been filed. The I-140 is step 2 of the EB3 process. Another common question we get is, what if I'm on a tourist visa, like a B2, a B1, B2 visa? Can I apply for the EB3 and stay in the US? Unfortunately, that's difficult. And the reason is the EB3 process takes 36 plus months right now. And the B2 visa, the tourist visa, only gives you about 12 months max. You can do 6 months and then renew for another 6 months, but then you'll either have to go back or switch to a different non-immigrant status. So it's not possible just on the B2. But, what some people do is they enter as a tourist, they change their minds, they want to go to school, so they apply for an F1, and they either at a language school or a degree granting school. And that allows them, once they're in F1 status, to stay in the US while they're waiting for the EB3 for their priority date to become current, so they can apply for adjustment of status. So another question that we get is, when is the earliest I get my work permit in the EB3 process? So step 1 is PERM, and the PERM does not give you any immediate benefit. It's just a step in the process. It's where the employer certifies that they tried to hire US workers and could not find enough, and the Department of Labor certifies that. And then step 2 is the I-140, and that's where the employer shows that they have the ability to pay the offered wage for you, the applicant worker. There's no direct benefit to you other than getting one step closer to the EB3 approval. So there's not a work permit that's issued after PERM. There is not a work permit that's issued after the I-140. Only during the step 3 of 3, the adjustment of status, if you're in the US, do you get a temporary work permit. So the adjustment of status consists of the I-485, and then we can also file the I-765, which is the temporary work permit. And once we file that adjustment of status, then you can get the temporary work permit in about 3 months, about 90 days. And then you can start work. And normally we recommend starting work for your employer sponsor at that time. Um, we're about 5 minutes in. What else? So, what countries does this not work for? Right now, unfortunately, if you were born in India or born in China, our program does not work for you because it takes too long to get the EB3 approved. And our employers are not willing to wait that long. So, you know, it sucks for you. I'm sorry. I wish it wasn't that way, but that's the way the program is. Another question: people say, I see that you require English proficiency. How do I know I'm English proficient enough, or how do I know that my English is at an acceptable level? Well, number one, so the reason that we require English proficiency is because in many of the jobs, you will be communicating in English with customers and team members, and English is the language that's spoken. In addition, you will have an interview with the employer where the employer has to be able to talk to you and hear you speak and accept you so you can move on past that stage, receive an offer letter, and then start the EB3 process with us. So during our EB3.Work interview with you, we'll kind of, talk to you and assess your level of English proficiency and determine if you can move on or not. It's not a high bar. You don't have to be fluent in English. You have to be able to hold a conversation. So that's what the English proficiency requirement is. Yeah. So I think that's a good roundup of the frequently asked questions. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. We try to answer within 24, 48 hours as soon as possible. Head over to EB3.Work. We've got a great frequently asked questions section. We encourage you to do your research, learn about the process, and reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.